Hi, welcome to Hanging Out on Monday Nights. I got two questions for the group, so we're going to do 2 rounds. First question, and I'm going to go just in the order that people are appearing on my screen. Buddies first. As a DJ, what do you feel like you do really well?
I'm sorry, what was that?
As a DJ, what do you feel like that you do really well?
As a DJ, what do I do
What's your
really
superpower?
well?
What do you do very well?
I'm going to say music programming.
Can you elaborate on that at all?
Without knowing music or understanding music or knowing where to put music at.
I'm not trying to get you to filibuster. I just
no, it's like
to it.
If you don't know where to put music at, you know what song fits and what
programming is
working.
Important. Yeah. I got
that's probably one of the biggest things that I feel a DJ needs to know. You know, the technical side and stuff like that is very important too. But knowing where and when a song, that's important.
Yeah. How about you, Bill? What do you feel like you do really well?
I actually think energize a crowd. I think I really do well with getting out and relating with the crowd and feeling where they're at and
interaction,
playing the right music, but keeping and being a great MC and just keeping the energy going.
What do you got, John? What do you think you do really well as a DJ?
Programming is what holds it all together. I mean, you got to have some ideas. You've got a couple of different twists and turns after every song. You don't play the same songs in the same order all the time.
Yeah.
But I'd say the superpower probably in the last 15 to 20 years has been able to put stuff together and mix really seamlessly. It was tough in the vinyl days. It was really tough in the cassette days.
Yeah.
Just with the technology that's available, it just seems, you can really put something together that sounds pro level. Yeah. And go for like an hour and not drop a beat. That was a big deal.
Really great compliment from Joe Bermudez that you do that well.
Yeah, that was good to hear. And we're always struggling to get better, always striving to push it a little further. But that's currently what the wave I'm riding. Yeah, but song choice is key to holding that together.
All right, Matt, what do you got for us? What do you do really well?
I'm thinking of probably better on the mixing side. I've developed that skill within like the last 3 years, I want to say.
Okay.
Not much of a scratcher or anything like that, but
right.
But as far as mixing goes, I think I've got that pretty much down. So,
Damon, it's your turn.
Oh, well, for me, it's definitely programming and the mixing part of it. And I love the technical side also, putting stuff together, setting up systems. So,
yeah, you do a lot of installing stuff.
Yeah, but definitely, I love my mixing and programming. That's a big part of me right there.
How about you?
I play a lot of different programs.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were done.
No, you're good.
You're not moving very fast on my screen today, so I can't see your mouth moving. It's like you're calling in.
I got shitty Wi-Fi, so.
All right, Eric.
I think we can all agree on the programming part, correct? Programming is key to any event. I like to go above and beyond, and I believe we all do it, but we all do it in our own way, with entertaining the crowd, getting everyone involved.
Sure.
And that's something that I think I'm good at, and I just like to get everyone involved. I don't care what age they are, and even if I got a lip sync praying Sinatra at a wedding, I'll do it.
Right.
I have videos of me doing it. It's just trying to get everyone involved, and that's how I was taught, and most of it was self-taught, and that's my answer. Yeah,
that's a good answer. I suppose it's only fair that I answer the question too, since we went around the room. I can say that all of your answers are really good, and I like them. I can relate to a lot of them, but if I wanted to throw something a little different out there, I think something that I actually do really well is chilling out clients. If I've got a client who's uneasy or unsure or just isn't quite, I guess, confident that their event's going to go well or everything's going to go well, I'm really good at chilling them out. I'm really good at putting their mind at ease. I feel like I'm pretty good at explaining to them how things work in a way that's not pushy, where I say, you must do it this way, or that's not going to work, it's going to be stupid. I try to approach it more kind. It's like, hey, you could do that, sure. Let me share this with you. Let me know what you think. I do that really well. I think that's probably my superpower. It's something I probably do. I feel like maybe better than a lot of my contemporaries around here. It's killing people out. I always get the hard gigs, and there's a reason for it. So,
good point.
Sweet.
You know, you also define, Brian, that how DJs wear so many hats.
Oh yeah. We're it's not a one skill set deal. We've got to have not only entertainment skills, music knowledge, people skills, but business as well. So with that being said, I'm going to go around the room again with the second question. And that is, buddy, starting with you, putting you in the hot seat because you're first. You're first. You should be happy that you're first. You're first.
Yeah, usually get stuck to the end.
No, you're first today.
You're the number one guy.
Number one.
Yeah, number one.
As an experienced DJ, which we all are experienced DJs in here, what do you feel like most needs improvement in your skill set?
That's a hard one because again, you've been around. A lot of us in here been around for quite a while.
No, yeah.
And started.
We're all competent.
Oh yeah,
we're all competent DJs. But
I would say almost everything because there's always room to grow. There's always room to learn. It sounds like a generic answer, but I always want to learn more. I always want to understand more. I ask questions. You know, it could be technical things, it could be music things, it could be a lot of different things. How did you do this? How did you do that? And the reason why is, again, I should always want to grow, always want to expand your mind, always never stop learning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a given in life, no matter what you do. The minute you know everything, just quit. Because you know everything. Just move on to the next thing.
I don't know everything. And that's the big thing. I want to learn more.
How about you, Bill? Out of all of your skill sets, and I know that you're like the best in Boston and all, but if you could take everything and look at it, what's the one thing that you feel like could use some improvement?
The raw, honest patience. It's easy to get yourself into a point of, this is what I do, this is how I do, and remind yourself every single time that the client doesn't. And they're asking questions or they don't know, or somebody comes in and it's just, they're throwing everything off track, and you just got to pause and be patient and say, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. I understand how this looks to you, but this is why we're doing this, or this is why, this happens, or I'm going to recommend this because of my experience and the way these have worked before, or it's just patience. And you got to stop yourself every single time and say, yes, I've done this 4,000 or 5,000 times or 4 million times. It doesn't matter. You just got to stop. And I think even a lot of celebrities lose the point of patience.
Oh, sure.
And, you got to pause yourself. And those are the celebrities that go from here to here. And people talk about and say, you know what? I love this celebrity because they're so down to earth, or they're so,
you hear nothing but nice things about like Keanu Reeves. They like him because he's just a cool guy and he always takes time for people, and
they remind themselves to be humble and that people around them don't necessarily do what they do or remember what they do, or you've done it 40 million times and they have not. That's the biggest thing.
We got Double D in the house. Look at this.
Hey
now.
So it's interesting you say that. I was watching, or I wasn't watching, I was going through my timeline today, and somebody was talking about how, and they didn't say it in a negative way, they were just stating it. It's like some people really don't know what a mashup is. They ask for it, but they're not really looking for a mashup. Of course not. You know how the custom wedding thing, I've done them for Buddy before, where where you've got to do that almost like a cheerleader medley for the client for some dance routine they want to do for a first dance or a father-daughter dance or whatever. And they'll say, yeah, we need you to do a mashup. And of course the DJ hears this and they're just getting annoyed. It's like, that's not what it is. So I did a video saying, hey, look, this is what a mashup is. It's taking 2 or more songs and making one song out of it. Like you're laying vocals on top of one song on top of music from the other. And I gave some examples and I explained how what you're looking for, if it's more of a song after song after song, is kind of a medley. Maybe it's mixed, maybe it's not, kind of thing. But I ended with, look, DJs, I get it. I mean, people hear terms and they don't know what they really mean. They just use them. I went through it with this water heater. Mm-hmm. So yes. Thermocoupler, thermopile, or thermostat. Thermal something, I don't know. I'm not the guy that fixes these things, but I'm trying to do it myself, and I'm going to screw it up. Or I'll go to the doctor and say, I got a sinus infection. I need an antibiotic. And they look at you and say, you do not have an infection. You have this other thing, and you need this for it. But they're patient with us.
But it feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not suggesting the parts cutter guy wasn't getting annoyed with me, or the doctor doesn't get annoyed with me. But if they did, I didn't know it. And that's cool when we feel how we feel about things, but when we can hold back and not show that we feel these things, I think that's probably key on some of this stuff.
It's funny because when John and I work together a lot, one of the things John teaches me a lot is patience.
No worries, because you got to have patience if you're going to hang around with John, right? Is that how that works?
No, it's not about that. It's about,
what? Like, I'm just saying.
I'm here, and John's like, no, we got to bring it to here.
Sometimes.
Pull back.
If I've had enough coffee, I'm all right. Otherwise, it's some guy tells me I got to move my truck out of the alley, and
then I teach John patience.
We'll be out here in 5 minutes. Knock it off.
Thank you.
We're a good team.
We're almost out of here. Thank you so much for your patience. Yeah. Be out of here soon.
You need to move it now.
The Jedi mind trick.
How much money we make you? You shut your mouth.
So how about you, John? What do you feel like, because you're a really well-rounded DJ, what do you feel like, out of all the things that you do well, what's the one thing that you feel like that you could improve on?
I don't think it comes down to skills or performance. I think it's from a different aspect, is that I'm too busy to savor what's going on, and when I look back at the accomplishments, I'm looking back to my photos in my phone or that I've saved to a folder. You know where I don't see them? Online. Because I'm not that braggy guy. I'm not like, I don't have to post every single thing I do and look how great I am. And quite frankly, I don't have the time. I'd have to hire a guy to market.
No, I get it. So some people do.
It's like until, I'm busy enough that I don't have time to make myself more busy. Not that I need to make myself more busy. That hasn't been a problem lately, and I don't wish that on anyone. Get a little out of hand sometimes. But just for the whole social thing, because that's going to be the next level of where we're advertising. No one's going to find us in the yellow pages. No one's going to go to our website anymore. They don't do that. They want to find you on Instagram or whatever the next latest, greatest trending site is. And you got to kind of have your fingers in that pie too. And it takes a lot of time to do that. And I just don't have it. So I count on referrals and, be back business. And, fingers crossed, the phone keeps ringing and we stay busy. That's something I'd like to improve on. But again, there's not enough hours in the day. I'd have to hire somebody.
Well, I mean, I understand the whole thing with, you don't want to be boastful. I get that. I don't want to be boastful either. Yet I post things. But when I post things in my mind, and maybe this is just a mind trick I'm doing with myself, I'm helping somebody by posting the photos I'm posting. Maybe how I've got it set up. Or maybe someone who's looking for something similar can see what I've done. It's not a matter of, hey, look at me. It's a matter of, I did this, and this is how I did it. So, that's actually helpful to not only other DJs, but to clients to see things that they like. So it's just it's a mind adjustment. Maybe I'm being boastful. I don't know. But in my mind,
it saves you from having to answer the same question again. Like, I did a video on that. Here's the link. Boom.
Yeah.
It's like, I've already spent hours going over that. So just go watch this. And your question, that was a question from someone else 3.5 years ago, has a video with
and I try really hard to be nice about that. It takes a lot.
Patience.
How about you, Matt? What could you do to improve?
I would say two sides of a coin, really. First side would be in relation to what you guys were just talking about, like I'm so wrapped up in the moment, or of running a gig, that I completely forget about taking pictures or recording myself,
right?
Stuff like that. I don't record at all. So
it's
that's one side
busy.
of it.
Yeah, you're busy, so it's hard to make time for that. Yeah.
Yep. Especially when you're running a karaoke gig, because you're constantly making sure like the next singer's song selection is right, and making sure that the current singer's sound is good, and you know what I mean. So you're kind of wrapped up in that kind of stuff. So as far as DJing goes, I'm happy with the level I'm at as far as being able to mix, because when I first started out, I think you and I both kind of started out about the same time. I think I started out like roughly 89.
Yeah.
Okay. And so back then we didn't have the technology that we've got now, so back then it was all records and 45s and cassettes and whatnot, and I did not learn, I couldn't catch on to how to mix with vinyl.
Sure.
It just, I for some reason, it didn't catch on with me.
Yeah.
But with today's technology, with the waveforms and stuff, I mean, it just makes it so much easier, and I don't know. But yeah, so I'm happy with where I'm at as far as with my mixing, but as far as like doing different like transitions and stuff like that, so it's not, I don't want to do like an 8-bar mix
every time.
Right. You want to do like a drop or something like that.
Yeah, mix it up. Yeah, I get that. And that takes practice, and you figure out. I know Damon does this all the time. You figure out several different ways to transition in and out of a song, and you try not to ever do it the same way twice. Once you're comfortable with making those transitions, it takes time. But yeah. What about you, Eric? What do you think you can improve on? Or what do you think you could do better with?
I really love Bill's answer when it came to patience, because I when you first brought up that question to Buddy, right away what popped in my head was patience. That is really a big key to what we do. We all need patience. And I mean, and I say this because I just did a Sweet 16 birthday party last weekend. And if you don't need patience, and when you don't have a helper, dealing with these kids throwing their phone in their face, can you play this? Can you play this? God, you need patience, okay? Because you're trying to program and you're trying to keep the things going. And so, yes, patience, number one. But if I could add just one more to the patience, because Bill took my answer, it's, I love you, Bill, and it was a great
answer. You too, brother.
No, my, and I had to think about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need really to better myself is to get rid of the nerves. Like, I get nervous a lot, like at weddings.
Not a bad thing.
No. And I've been doing weddings since I was 16, a long time ago. Every wedding I do, I'm telling you now.
You'll get the butterflies.
I have nerves until they're all in the room and they're eating dinner.
Why do you
then I can calm down.
Why do you think you're nervous? Why? Yeah.
But
that's really the weird one, because I had to figure that out for myself, and I did a tweak a few years ago that helped me. What is it that's making you nervous?
Here's what it is. I figured it out, Brian. It's one, you can't press rewind. This is it. You don't want to ruin their day.
Yep.
You don't want to mess up anybody's name during the introductions. And God, I've been doing it years like you all have. But still, there's always that weird name you got on that list. And even though you spell it the way it should sound, you'll still mess it up sometimes, really. Because, that's nerves,
the pressure of every wedding being a Super Bowl, really.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's funny because John's done a lot of weddings with me, Eric, and the one thing I'll do is after introductions, my hands. It's just that it's the moment of, and then it brings it down.
I think the adrenaline kind of takes you up too, and you're a little more amped up than you should be, and you're like, it's going to be fine. We've rehearsed this. We're going to get to it. And
we've done this 1,000 times.
But then when that moment hits,
hands, when I'm done, they do this, and I've shown John, and when that stops, that's when I become way too arrogant.
Lay off the espresso coffee. Okay?
Well, hold on a second. I mean, when you think about it, and I got a band name in my mind as probably the longest active touring band today. Who do you think that would be? I mean, John.
Yes.
Huh?
Rolling Stones.
Yes. Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Guess what the Rolling Stones do every night? The same damn songs.
Yeah.
It's not like they got to change it up or change the words or anything else.
But they still get jitters.
I'm sure they do. But my thing is that we're not doing, I can't get no satisfaction every night. We're not singing that same song every night. We're doing, Jehoshaphat Shahorowicz, who are these people and how do you say this?
Maria Conchita Lazo. Of course, she has a lot of hyphens in her name.
Richard's holding up the baby Jesus, and
I'll tell you what my tweak was on that though. There were a couple things that I had to do. The first thing I had to do was figure out why I was nervous. It's like, okay, I'm nervous because the client's nervous. The client has anxiety. The client is, I hope this goes well. I want it to go I, on the other hand, have done this countless amount of times. And I can do it with my eyes closed. I mean, I am not the best performer in town, but I am an artist and I'm a solid performer. What I do well. And I have no doubt that I can do this job. What I was doing was having way too much empathy for my clients, and I was feeding off of their anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So what I had to do is realize that their anxiety has absolutely no bearing or effect on my ability to do the job. They haven't seen me do it yet, because they haven't had their event yet. After they see me do it, they're going to be happy. But their nerves or their, I guess, just insecurities about the event have no bearing on my ability to perform the event. I had to realize that. That was step one. The other thing I did is a little more cruel, but I had to look at the statistics and say to myself, you know what? Odds are these kids are going to get divorced in 3 years anyway, so nobody's going to care. It's true. Wow. And I'm not saying it to be mean. Yeah. It's 51, 52% divorce rate right now. So odds are they're going to tear up all these pictures. They're not going to care about any of this stuff. It's going to be done.
And then hire you for the next wedding.
And whether or not I'm successful at DJing their event, and it could be the best wedding I've ever done, the best party I've ever done. It has absolutely no bearing on whether or not their marriage is going to succeed.
Right. It's insignificant at that point.
If you're 100% correct.
Yeah. The success of their marriage has no bearing on what I did that night.
I will probably
those are the things I had to tell myself. It's weird.
Yeah, that jitter, though, that's adrenaline, because as a DJ for a wedding, the key moments happen. Really, the biggest one is the introduction. So you don't want to screw that.
Well, that's correct.
That is the biggest.
Yeah.
You get through formalities. You get through basically dinner, that stuff, your first dance, parent dances, cake cutting, that stuff. What really happens at that point? Then it's programming, like you talked about, buddy. Programming.
It's the stuff that we do well,
where programming comes in, and being that professional and understanding and looking at your crowd and being able to program and running it through. But as the jitter, it's that first moment, you flip the switch, the mic comes on, and you are it.
All eyes are on you at that.
You know what what I do at that moment doesn't bother me. I try to keep I try to do first names only because look,
that's what I do. First names only.
It's supposed to be an intimate group.
Right, you're all supposed to know each other. Right, I don't have to.
Yeah, you guys are all supposed to know each other. Why am I doing this so formally?
Why am I working so hard?
This is not a dinner. Yeah, this is not a dinner call. It's.
I don't.
Here's Jimmy. Here's Eddie. Here's Alex. Here's Jenny.
Right.
Here's whatever. Yeah.
That does not bother me. I mean, I just get them in the room. The only part that freaks me out when it comes to these kind of things are the things I have no control over. Like I'm going to put them in line, and I hope they come out on cue. I hope. Yeah, well, if I'm lucky, I got somebody to help me. But if I'm not,
well, like Buddy's got.
And if I'm lucky, they don't run to the bathroom.
He can let him. He's got the side helper there. That's gonna. Tracy's got to make it right.
This will be another show, Brian. But
even it could be. But even if they don't come out on cue, okay, I did my job.
You did
my ability. I did my job.
Another show.
I can't worry about that. They screwed it up.
Yeah,
I did everything that I felt like I possibly could.
Yeah,
to get them to do what they're going to do, and if they're not do what they're supposed to do, not my fault. It's not my fault.
So I was a paramedic, right? The first thing they taught me in medic school, and this is the greatest line I ever use anywhere. It's not your emergency.
Yeah.
It's not your emergency.
Their emergency.
You're just there to fix it.
Yeah.
It's not your emergency.
You do everything you can.
You do everything you can to fix it, and that's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, Damon, superstar DJ from Dearborn, Michigan, who is doing the Prince on the Prince versus Michael Jackson gig coming up. I saw that flyer today.
That'd be a fun one.
Be a fly on the wall for that one.
That would be totally fun. I wish I was.
I will do my best to try to stream it.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see what you
100%.
Don't blow it for anybody, but I want to see your set list on it.
Okay. Well, things that I would like to improve on is MCing.
Okay.
I'm a decent MC, and I worked in many clubs for years, even adult clubs.
Yeah.
But working those type of clubs to actually doing weddings, completely different world.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm a decent MC, but I would like to be a better MC.
Okay.
So I kind of hang out with some guys, and I do some weddings with them that are phenomenal MCs. So I'm just working on building that right now.
Yeah, and it's ultimately, I feel, and I think everybody here could agree, you, in time, develop an MC's style for this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's no one's the same. You know where I get a lot of my inspiration for MCing? Stand-up comedians. Of all things.
That is a good one because
the reason
is off the cuff.
Yeah, the reason is when they talk to the audience, the good comedians, the really good guys, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. The guys who are just really famous and really good. When they're talking to the audience, it sounds casual.
Yes.
Effective, and it's on point. Even when it sounds like they make a mistake or they stutter, that's in the act. That's part of the act. And that's there for effect. It's fascinating to me what stand-up comedians do, and even what they go through. Like, okay, I can relate to them. A stand-up comic can do a show in Milwaukee tonight and kill it. Everybody's laughing, they love it, bring the house down. Do the same set in Buddy's neighborhood tomorrow? Crickets. Why? I mean, we go through that too. We could, as DJs, we could do the same set at one place and it's amazing in front of another audience. Falls flat.
But the comedian will read the audience and change it.
Well, they try to read the audience and they try to change it. They do their best, but there is a bomb that happens, and what are you going to do? Sometimes it's not your fault, and that burden on your shoulders that everything's your fault. That'll give you a stroke.
Hey, like I said,
emergency.
Like I said, I'm a decent MC. If you need me to put fantasy up on stage, I got you. I am your man.
or Precious, or
Precious, or Mercedes, or Cinnamon. Yeah, I got you. I have you doing dollars all day.
The movie said, F and Becky.
Yeah, well, if you want to work on articulation, don't hang with any of us Boston guys. We drop ours off of everything. They'll never understand you in Detroit.
It's all age.
The car.
Brian Grimm ahead of the car. Where are they going?
You know, car keys. It could either be a pair of pants or
well, like I said, if I'm having trouble bringing Mr. and Mrs. Jimmy Goldstein into the room, I'm making sure I can have him. That's where my hang up is a little bit.
You know what's crazy though, Damon, is when I talk to you in your speaking voice, you don't use a lot of filler words like and.
No.
Or you don't have tics either. Like some people have verbal tics,
right?
Where they'll say things like and stuff like that after they say everything. Or know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Like I hate that one.
Don't do that. So you're probably better than you think you are.
The word like.
Yeah. Oh, like.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's natural. Sometimes
and you know what I'm saying.
Brad made speeches. And we went to school like, and she was my bestie like, and it was like, yeah. Every time I hear like, he's sticking a pencil in my ear. Like, how many times can she really say it? I think you get the clicker up to about 42, 43. Like, man, that's a lot of.
Like, yeah.
As a fellow DJ, just making an observation, man. You're probably better than you think, but it's really cool that you want to improve. We all should want to improve.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that.
And songs like Taylor Swift, "We're Never Getting Back Together Again." I mean,
what's your point?
Ever.
I'm saying like it pushes those speech tics or whatever. Because
art. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because
we're never getting back together like ever.
Well, it's funny because the word like replaced
and there's nothing wrong with a pause. Maybe
there's nothing wrong with the pause.
Right, you don't have to just fill space with noise.
When somebody turned around and said, now it's so like, it just like replaced.
It means they didn't finish the thought in their head before they started spinning the word wheels out.
Yeah, Valley Girl speak from California.
Unless you're a teenager, then like is in your vocabulary, and it's so like Brian, so like. Yeah.
They're not giving you any dead air. They
me with a spoon.
Exactly.
I think it can be
replacing dead air with like.
If it's repetitive, that's what it drives me nuts.
Yes.
I'd rather a dramatic pause there. Like we've all been contemplating what our next move will be, but just a space. It doesn't need filler. It doesn't need Listen, we do a lot of corporate things, and not all the corporate guys are the best, speakers on the
right.
Leave something to be desired, and it helped teach us in that way. So, like, how many more times should they think of to say? It's
some of the coolest songs. I mean, it's the absence of sound that makes it cool. I'm thinking about the Nax My Sharona.
I'm thinking about Pink Floyd on the most of that line.
But Damon, you know what a lot of us did initially was just to record ourselves, listen to ourselves talk, and then immediately you'll start saying, boy, I say that a lot, or I don't like where I pause there. Yeah. When you hear yourself, I mean, that's like the hardest thing is to be your own critic, but then you'll see the things that other people see, and then you'll know what you really sound like to a crowd of strangers.
And then some of the things you see, others may not be saying at all, so don't be too damn hard on yourself.
No, it is true. Like if you listen to yourself in a recording.
On radio, they used to make us do that.
Right.
And you had to listen to your show after you recorded it. You'd get the cassette tape, go home. What would you like to change,
Yeah.
I was in radio years ago, and I told my wife, I said, listen, I hate how I sound on the radio. And she said, I hate how you sound in front of me. So, God bless her support. I love you, Lauren. But, yeah.
And on that note, thank you for joining
us. Let's do this.
She just changes the channel when she doesn't want to listen.
6 more likes in, yeah.
No, how about
let's talk some more, like talk some more.
We'll do sponsors.
Yeah, like sponsors.
Like sponsors and stuff. And stuff like that.
Yeah, like we should get to that.
Yeah.
We should get to sponsors.
DJ Van Planner is our sponsor tonight.
I like that sponsor.
Check out DJ Van Planner. in the description of this video, there's a link down there, as well as some of our other sponsors. Thank you.